I'm Taylor Albright. I'm the priest out in Southwick. And as I was thinking about the Mission Impossible series, you know, the one that Tom Cruise does, the series of movies, I think they're pretty exciting, but I've always been disappointed by something. Maybe it's because I'm an old timer now, but I really missed that one scene that came at the beginning of the old TV series. Maybe you don't remember that. At the beginning of the old TV series, every week, the team leader would get a mysterious package. And then he would go to some place, maybe in a park or in an office building, somewhere by himself, and he would turn on this little tiny tape recorder that was in there. And the tape recorder would have the details of the next mission. But at the end of every recording, it had said the same words every week. It would say, "And your mission, if you choose to accept it." And then, of course, the tape recorder would self-destruct. But that phrase is really something. Your mission, if you would choose to accept it. I always waited for the week that they didn't accept it, and it would be very short, but they always accepted the mission. Your mission, if you choose to accept it. Now we know that the church has a mission, and we've probably been around long enough to know that somehow we're a part of that in some way. But we're not exactly sure what that mission is about, or what part do we play in that. Every time we witness a baptism, we're reminded that we're called to a mission of proclaiming God's good news to all people, both in word and in deed. But maybe the bigger question, the real practical question is, have we actually chosen to accept the mission? It's an amazing honor that God would actually call us to play such a large part in His plan. We may disagree, but it's a tremendous honor to say that God would entrust this to us. But it's also very intimidating. Jesus said, "As the Father has sent me, so I am sending you." Those are amazing words. How do you hear it? And maybe a bigger question, how do we do it? As I've tried to struggle with that myself personally, I found two things to become very helpful. Helping me to remember what my role is, helping me to remember as I leave my house every day. And those two things are this. And the first one is that every person matters to God. Every person. In Luke 15, Jesus tells three stories, three very similar stories. In each story, something very valuable has been lost. And then in each story, there's a tremendous search that goes on. And at the end of every story, there's a tremendous celebration once that valuable thing has been found. In the first story, a shepherd leaves the 99 sheep that he has because that one lost sheep is that precious to him. And once he finds that sheep, he comes and tells everybody else that he found the sheep that was lost. And then there's a story about a widow who lost probably a tenth of all the money she had to live on, one silver coin. And when she realizes it's lost, she drops everything else, and she goes and she searches her house until she finds that coin. And in the third story, maybe closer to our hearts, there's a father who's lost a son. And every day that father has a longing in his heart, and he stands at the end of his property, looking, waiting, and hoping for that son to return. And when the son returns, he throws a tremendous party because that which was lost was found. And Jesus tells the stories because he says, this is what the Father's heart is like. That the Father cares so much about every person, that every person to him is like that son. And that when some person comes back to him, is found again, returns home to God, that in heaven, it says, there's a tremendous party, like a giant banner is put up with that person's name on it. And all the work of heaven stops for a moment to celebrate that. Every person matters dearly to God. And the second thing goes with the first, and that is that if every person matters to God, then every person you see today, no matter whether it's a family member, person behind the counter when you buy that coffee, could be a coworker, matters dearly to God. And as they matter to God, we become, because we're here for God and with God, We become part of the way God connects with them. It's as if every person who comes across our path is there by some divine appointment. Author Leonard Sweet says it's not so much that they need to hear you preach to them. He says sometimes what people are really needing is just a subtle nudge. Maybe it's a question, maybe it's a conversation, or maybe it's just your awareness of that person and listening to them. As we go on about our lives and we consider what it means to be part of God's mission, we know that every person that we meet is part of our process in that mission, of what we're doing in that mission. And so the mission is there for us every moment, every day, and we know that we're called to do it. But perhaps the big question remains, will we accept the mission?